Can you tell us your name and a little bit about yourself?
My name is Aliana Diaz. Everybody calls me Allie. I'm from Local 19, Seattle. I am a Tulalip tribal member and I identify as she, her.
Can you tell us a little bit about why we're here at this conference?
We are here at this conference to help build relationships with the Indigenous community and help bridge the gap of outreach, education, and get to know what it is that the Indigenous community needs in order to have pathways into the trades, and in particular to our trade, the elevator constructors.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Tarot Conference and why we're here?
Yes, we are at the 2024 Rocky Mountain Tarot Conference, and we are here to help build relationships with the tribal nations and help bridge the gap between the skills that it takes to get into our trade and the education to help facilitate how we can attract and retain Indigenous individuals into our trade.
So, Allie, you do a lot of outreach in your, just in your own life and your career. Can you tell us a little bit about how you think outreach is important with the Indigenous peoples of America and how we can get people interested in the elevator trade?
Outreach is extremely important for our Indigenous communities. Having a person who can represent for our elevator constructor trade go out into the field and recruit people with the skills that it takes to be a mechanic is extremely vital. To have somebody who can represent, and they see themselves in being out there conducting the outreach, and being a female and Indigenous person is, not something they see. They don't see themselves when they hear of opportunities in the elevator union. For them to be able to see themselves by somebody representing the elevator union is reciprocal then at that point, and it's that they can move into our trade and possibly have a mentor, that they see that, oh, well, so-and-so from, my community became a mechanic, so can I. Or did you hear, somebody's auntie, became a mechanic. And having those opportunities and to be able to tell the youth that they can be a skilled elevator mechanic and have such a great education, and that they're capable, having somebody going out there telling them that they're capable of it and that they believe in them is vital. Building that confidence from the beginning with the communities and the relationships.
How can the IUEC and NEEP better understand the specific needs of Indigenous peoples who are interested in careers in the elevator industry?
The IUEC and NEEP are already beginning the stages of understanding the Indigenous people's needs in order to enter into the International Union of Elevator Constructors. They're building the relationships. They're providing support for our members who are Indigenous, and NEEP and the IUEC are asking the questions. How can we help? What should we do? And being open to the possibilities of working with us and expanding their membership to include Indigenous peoples.
Allie, can you tell us a little bit about your own experience getting into the trade and why you would support other Indigenous peoples to follow the path that you've gone into?
My experience with the elevator constructors began as an advice from someone to get into the elevator constructors and said, you need to become a mechanic. And I was like, what's that? And then after finding out all the intricacies and skills that it takes to become a mechanic is how I became so curious and then became tenacious to get in. And I work with the Indigenous community by working with tribes directly on the reservations and also through nonprofits. I assist in the DOL's efforts to work with the Indigenous communities. I work with NAB2 on the Indigenous Committee and bringing awareness of apprenticeships, attracting and retaining skilled individuals from the Indigenous community. I have worked on a federal subcommittee for the Hanford nuclear site, which also expands its reach to a more rural area where there are elevator constructors and that there are also Indigenous communities in the surrounding area.
If you were to summarize just overall, just any encouraging words that you could give to another Indigenous person that's really younger than you, that's looking to get into the industry, what would you say in words of support to give it to?
In words of support, I would say, I'm so excited for you. I can help you, and I would let them know about our NEEP website, about the map, about the frequently asked questions page. I would let them know about my experience so far. I would have that communication with them and to be able to be open and honest and encourage them that they can stick through it and make it into, a career, a lifelong career, and a successful retirement.
We've talked about resiliency a lot, right? And throughout your own career. Could you just say a little bit about how resiliency has helped you get to where you're at in your career right now in the elevator industry?
Resiliency has added a component to my skill set and coping mechanisms that it takes for you to be on the job as an apprentice, as a mechanic, and that even if it led to a mechanic in charge or an adjuster, you're going to need that resiliency to be part of your backbone and to be your foundational core value that you can make it through the schooling, the intense amount of detail that it takes to understand and retain the information of how an elevator works, how an escalator works, dumbwaiter, manwalk, whatever it might be. Resiliency is part of the Indigenous culture, and it is, we've heard that, this weekend at the conference multiple times, that we are a resilient people, and we are, and that it's part of our DNA, and that we can turn that into successful life skills and a career in the elevator trade.